Do you want to consistently take any photo from looking like this to looking like film? Well, if you do, you're in the right place. Now there's loads of reasons why you might want to make your photos look like film. Of course, film is super expensive. You've got to regularly be buying it, getting it developed. But also, you might have a workflow where you shoot film and you also need to shoot digitally and try and match up those two looks. So while I shoot film and I love shooting film, sometimes it's just a thing that needs to happen. You need to get that consistent look throughout your work. And if you can do that, then I think that's a pretty good thing. Now, I'm aware there's loads of different kinds of film. You've got your portrait, you've got your cinestill, you've got your basic Kodak, you've got your basic Fujifilm. I'm gonna go for a stereotypical film-like look. So maybe something along the lines of Kodak Color Plus, maybe Kodak Gold. But really you can take most of these things and adjust some small things, and then you could still achieve the kind of look you want to get. So let's say you were trying to get cinestill, you could use most of these things and then add in those sort of blue hues and find some way of getting halation, which actually I'm going to talk about in the middle of this video. So let's get cracking. And although you can't see it, there's a laptop right in front of me. So I'm just going to get editing and talking you through this process. All right then, I've opened up Lightroom Classic. You can use whatever you want. You can use the newer version of Lightroom if you want to. You can use whatever kind of editing software you want. But for the sake of this video, we're using Lightroom Classic. And first off, we're going to head into tone. That's where you usually start when you're using your editing process. So let's start there. And I'm going to reduce the highlights a little bit, but not a dramatic amount, because typically when you get film scans back, those highlights will be a little bit overexposed. We're thinking with film about the fact that it's not going to be completely perfect. I'm also going to increase those shadows. We want that sort of pastel, washed out kind of look. So we're going to increase those shadows a little bit. And we're also going to increase the blacks and probably a little bit of the whites as well. I think that's looking fairly nice, but nothing special at the moment. Next up, I'm just going to head into temperature and increase that temperature, get a bit of warmth into it, because that is something typical. You know, if you're shooting something like Kodak Gold, it specifically is more sort of warm. So we're going to bring that warmth into it. We don't want to go too far. There's a fine balance here. Probably happy around that sort of area. Potentially just bring this tint down a little, but I think it's fine as it is. Okay, we're looking here at the clarity and dehaze. Now, I like to reduce my clarity in most of my photography anyway, and I think here this just adds to that feeling of like the film is not a perfect thing. And with the dehaze, I'm going to decrease that dehaze, so bring a bit more haze into it. Obviously, if we go too far, it's going to look like a 70s music video or something, but we can sort of bring it to that like minus 35, maybe minus 30 sort of area, and it has that sort of feeling of, you know, like an imperfect film photo. We could increase the texture here, but I'm probably not going to touch that right now. Curves, I hate curves. They're not my friend, but I'm going to increase these shadows again, just increase that sort of washed out feeling. So we can bring that up a little bit. Potentially we're going too far here with the washed out sense of things. So let's just go a bit further forward with the dehaze. We can create a tiny bit of an S, so the midtones are going to come down a little bit, and we can even increase the highlights just a little bit more, but that feels like we could be going a bit too far there, so we'll just get it back towards the middle. I'm feeling pretty happy with how this is looking at the moment. It has got that sort of film photo feeling at the moment, but we're not quite there yet. There are a couple of more really important steps. But first, I want to talk about today's sponsor, DxO, and specifically their editing software, PhotoLab 9. The really good thing about DxO is that when you sign up, you're not signing into a regular payment. You're not signing into this monthly, you know, £20 a month or whatever. You can just buy it as a one-time thing. Of course, if you want updates and add-ons and stuff like that, then you have to pay for those. But for the actual editing software itself, you can just get it once and keep using it. And for me, these days, something like that is really important. Photography is super expensive. Life is super expensive now. So where you can save money, I think it's something really good. But the thing is, we can do all the same things on Photolab 9 that we've just done in Lightroom. We can create this whole look all over again in Photolab 9. You can pretty much do your whole normal editing workflow on Photolab 9. And there's also all kinds of different add-ons like film packs that you can get, and the Nick collection, which also includes halation. So that's a whole nother thing that can make your edits look like film. And what's great is that if you go to the link in the description and put in max15 at checkout, then you'll get 15% off whatever you want. So go ahead, check DxO out, get some money off. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So I'm gonna move on to color grading. This doesn't need too much. You know, we're already feeling relatively film-like, but I'd like to increase the orange in the midtones and in the highlights. Really want to see that sky getting a bit more orangey and just feeling a little bit more like film. You could, of course, play around with the exposure of those midtones that you're adding in, so you could make it lighter still, making it more washed out, or you could add a little bit of contrast if you felt like it. Depends what you like. I'm going to keep it in the middle. Same with the highlights. If we want to decrease those highlights, it might feel a little bit more, you know, it might feel a bit more well exposed, I guess. But I'm thinking keeping those highlights slightly overexposed just feels a little bit more authentic for like what film tends to look like when you get your scans back. Another thing that we need to get right is the grain. This can be really difficult because when you're actually putting it in on Lightroom, you can't normally see how it's going to look. For some reason, it doesn't like show up. And then when you export the file, you suddenly seem to have like tons of grain. So I'd maybe keep it around this sort of 35 area and not go too far above that with the size or the roughness either. So although you probably can't necessarily see it on screen now, once it's exported, you probably will. Of course, you know, we could increase that grain all the way up, increase the size, increase the roughness, and you'll really see it. It looks crazy. So you've got to be careful with where you go with the grain. You want it to be there, you want to feel that texture, you want it to feel film-like, but you don't want it to like completely overpower the photo. Right now, like I feel like this feels pretty authentic as a film sort of preset. So what we're going to do is save the preset, and I want to try it on a few different shots to show you the kind of adjustments that you might need to make if you make a preset like this. So we're going to make a preset called, I don't know, super cool preset by a cool guy. Please subscribe to him, lol. There we go. Normal name. That's what I normally call them. So we got the preset. I'm going to head into the library, find a photo. Let's see what we've got. I want a different. Okay, I'm going to go into this. This is already edited, so I'm going to reset this. This is edited in a different way. So reset. Looks a bit shit. Put the preset over. Right, we're super blown out here, super bright, and probably a little bit too warm now. So we could bring the exposure, just general exposure down. Like, I think that looks much better now. We could decrease the temperature just a little bit. And this is where I would do HSL sliders, because if you make the preset and you're already playing around with your HSL, then it's going to be different for every photo. You're going to have different colors in every photo. You're going to have different, you know, problems really to deal with. So if you come into your HSL, in this circumstance, I'm probably going to decrease the luminance of the greens and yellows a little bit, just to make the grass feel a little bit more authentic. Could even decrease the saturation of that yellow a little bit. That's quite nice. Maybe we could change the hue of the sky. Which way? Maybe like to be slightly more film-esque. Maybe the hue of the oranges could go a little bit more red, and we could increase the saturation of the oranges if we wanted. I think that feels a bit more, a little bit more film-like, a little bit more authentic. We can go we can go into a completely different photo again, maybe one in the evening or something like that. I think that's a good way of seeing how this edit works. So this is like a fairly nice photo already. Let's pop the preset over it. Again, this is too warm for this specific photo. You could take all that temperature out of it and it feels pretty nice. Maybe we can have the increase the temperature just by a tiny touch. It looks good. Again, we've got these hues that we can deal with. So like if we really wanted to, we could change the color of the blue, obviously not to a crazy degree, but like we could bring it to a little bit more of a cyan sort of blue. I think it feels a little bit more film-like. You know, we could probably dehaze this specific photo a little bit more if we wanted to. Like if this was taken on film, the likelihood is that the shadowy parts of this image would feel very underexposed. Like that is how it would look on film. But then we have it's like impacting the rest of the picture that probably would be well exposed. So you could maybe decrease those shadows a little bit if you wanted to, or decrease the highlights a little bit, maybe, just to try and tune it in a bit. Then we could maybe try one last photo. Let's see how it looks on something that's completely different. Right, we're working with something completely different here. We've got a portrait. Let's see what we can do with the preset. Lob it on. Right, we're just a bit too warm, so we're going to decrease that temperature. Perhaps just decrease take the midtones out of this. We could probably drop those shadows a little bit, just get a bit of the contrast in there, but not too much, and maybe increase the dehaze just a little bit. So we've got that like film-like look. It looks a little bit washed out, but not to the point where it looks like so underexposed and hazy. So we've hardly had to do anything at all there. Just drop the preset on and then adjust a little bit. And I think this looks really, really good. So there you have it. You don't have to do loads of stuff. You can mess around with your tone curves if you want to. I know people do that when they're doing this kind of stuff. It's just not really part of my workflow. If you can do it without it, why do you need to do it? So I think the key things really to remember are to make it feel a little bit washed out, make it feel a little bit pastel, get a lot like bit of warmth in your image overall, get a bit of warmth in those highlights, maybe make it feel a little bit imperfect and increase that grain and get that texture in there. This is pretty repeatable on all kinds of photos, so give it a go. You might just have to make a few different adjustments, mainly in your tone and mainly in your temperature, but that should really be it. So yeah, if we go back to the first image and we look at the before and after, it's a pretty dramatic difference. You know, it's looking pretty nothingy on the left, and personally I think it's looking pretty authentically film-esque on the right. So there we go. That's how to make any photo look like film. You can change it in all different kinds of ways if you want to. You can change it in the color grading. That's the main way I would affect it. So if you want to go for Cinestill, sort of get those blue hues in the shadows and probably even the highlights, that will make it look a bit more like Cinestill. Maybe with Fujifilm, then you're going to make the tint go over to the green a little bit. Just those kinds of small adjustments for making it look more like whatever kind of film you're after. And of course, go over to DxO, get some money off, sign up, you'll save money. It's a really good editing software. They've got loads of other stuff on offer as well, so well worth taking a look at. And while you're here, I've put together a free PDF of my favorite compositional techniques. go down to the link in the description. You can download it. This is not just rule of thirds, none of that involved. This is about stuff that I use every single day, not the regular shit. It's really handy. Go take a look. Well worth it. And thanks a bunch. I'm going to be back with way more videos, way more often, really, really soon. So I hope you're excited.